to preserve traditions, you have to live them. You can only tell the story of how you used to do things for so long. I see myself as a rancher who is part of the land, inseparable from the animals and the landscape. That's the way I was brought up ranching, and that's why, as I looked ahead, saw it as the only way that I wanted to live my life.
Brandings are probably the most social time of the year for ranches. Time when neighbors get together and work together as a team, help each other. But most of all, we have fun. So this week, we're going to be branding 500 or 600 calves.
We're going to be camping out deep into the ranch for a few days.
So we're just going to have one hell of a good time.
Branding is the most exciting part of the year because that's when everybody comes together, and branding gives the ranch like a whole new sense of teamwork. There you go.
When Duke told me we'd be doing a 2-day branding camping trip the first week I got there, I was pretty excited.
So when we form a line, everybody's got to back each other up, okay? Don't lag behind. And always look at me, always look at Michael, no matter what.
It's a pretty cool atmosphere. You wouldn't find that, I don't think, in a lot of other places. People that are excited to get up to work, people that are excited to work together.
I remember telling my wife, she kind of did a double take. What time do you got to get up? I said 3. And you want to do that? I said, heck yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's that cowboy culture that's so very important. That's something special.
We're very happy that we're in a position where we can do things the traditional way and be living these traditions the same way that our fathers did. And so when we go out and make a camp, it means we can accomplish a lot more over a span of 2 days. And it puts us closer in touch with what's going on out there.
Daylight's burning! Breakfast!
Typically on a branding day, we'll ride out early in the morning, try to get all the cattle when they're mothered up with their calves, get them all into a central gathering place.
The objective is to get all the calves branded as soon as possible so they can get back to where they live.
We'll start a wood fire, start heating the iron. In the meantime, all the calves are settling, the cows are laying down. And then from there, you usually put in more experienced ropers to pull the calves off from the outside without stirring things up further.
Heads up, guys! We need somebody on the herd over here!
And then on the ground, you need people who are physically tough. They can take a wild animal and lay him on the ground without hurting him or themselves, and then holding him there while that animal is being processed, branded, castrated, dehorned, whatever we have to do. So that when that first calf is brought in, everyone has to understand what their job is and to do it in a quick and efficient way.
That's the way. Ah! Nicely done. Woo. Need one in front here, Brand? Front.
Jay, you want to cut him?
Grab him.
Cattle branding began because of cattle rustling originally. It's just a mark of ownership. You put that brand on that animal, and that animal's yours until you sell it. We don't want to carry on bad genetics, so we castrate all our commercial steers, dehorn all our commercial steers, because you lose a lot of money selling them commercially if they do have horns. Typically they get shipped around the most, and they'll get in tight spaces, and horns will often bruise and end up wasting a lot of the meat.
Pull them all the way around, guys. All the way around the fire.
What we believe in here and what we practice is low-stress livestock handling. It's our responsibility to make it as easy as we can on them.
We bring the cows in together. We don't take them into the corrals. We hold them around a watering hole. Take them into the corral, you got to take the whole herd in. You got to separate the calves. You got to work them. And the real stress on the calves is being separated from their mother.
It's really not stressful for the calves. They're on the ground for usually no longer than 2 minutes, and then they run back and find their moms, rather than being in a chute and being separated in a pen and then being super hectic.
Oftentimes, if you watch someone rope a calf, the mother will follow it all the way to the fire and be smelling it while it's being branded or processed.
If you can release that animal and that animal be back in the herd, back with its mother, back in its natural environment immediately, the pressure just goes to zero.
Life doesn't get any better. You need another brand? All right.
I think what makes the Phillips unique is their humility. They didn't inherit a bunch of money. They have to make a living at this. We have to get the job done. But at the same time, they take time for certain things that other guys wouldn't take time to do. They have a passion for people wanting to learn and for teaching.
You just got to go in there like a middle linebacker. You're going to be people coming in and take you out, and you don't care.
Here. Hudson, come here by the rope. Here, Hudson, right here. Where are you?
Growing up, I got to work really closely with my dad, so he taught me a lot of things that probably I still don't even recognize.
He's completely mentored all of us and made us love ranching by not forcing us to do it and showing us how much he loves it.
Part of ranching for me is that it's very multi-generational. And so the things that I know because I was taught them by my father and my father by his grandfather. So when I'm out branding a calf and I see my son shoot this incredibly beautiful loop and catch this calf and bring him back, and then I see my daughter grab that calf and put him on the ground, or I see my kids doing things that I was taught by my father, I mean, there's no feeling like it.
On your mark, get set, go!
Yeah, I'll come.
Woo!
You guys got that amazing? Amazing. Yeah!
We had a good branding this year. It was a nice camp, and it was pretty focused on what we had to get done. So you see a lot of people out there giving it everything they have and appreciating what everybody else is giving and having each other's backs. That's pretty huge and that's pretty special. That's something I really appreciate here.
Duke has a unique way of looking at ranching in a very modern way. But he has this ability to constantly look at, am I doing it right? I'm gonna take what I know and what my dad and his dad taught me, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm still doing it right for the land I work on, for the people who work with me, and the community that I'm a part of.
The traditions that have been handed down by our ancestors are very important to us. There's just a bigger mission, preserving the past. That's what we know and that's who we are.
The drought came in 2002. The last 3 years have been exceptionally dry. You start thinking, how am I going to survive?